Good evening and welcome to a live broadcast. I am Bob Pace, your host, and I have a secret to tell you. I have a secret to tell you. It's how to get your children back and fight CPS. They got to stop taking our children. It's really bad out there. And imagine all of you, and we have nobody in the room yet, but all of you um, um, have gone through CPS. That's why you come to this web page. It's found through Facebook, and I'm on every day of the week, 7 days a week. At one time at 10 in the morning Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at night. And tomorrow, which is oh boy, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday. I'm going to be on a little bit later at 10:30. There's another show before me, and so I'll be on at 10:30 tomorrow on Sunday. Um, this is this I believe is this today is Saturday the 3rd. Okay, so tomorrow the 4th, I'll be on at 7:30. And right now it looks like we got 3 people in the room, and what this is all about. This is a live broadcast, and I involve people to speak on the show, be a guest speaker to talk about their CPS matters and how they've lost their children or how they're stole CPS has stole their children. For some of you, you may be starting out. For some of you, you may have heard the old story again. I have had a real experience with CPS. For 9 years, I've been fighting them. 3 years it was active to get my kids back, and I got 2 of my 3 back. But they're the most corrupt and deception and lying agency I've ever seen in my life. Um, and before I get started, I want to tell you some house rules in here and so forth. We have several ways you can interact with this show. One way is that you can text a comment in your comment section there that you have before you, and you type in a comment. It will appear to me. Make sure you put your first name and your state that you're calling from. I have had calls from Australia, so it's okay, and I'll try my best to address your needs there in Australia. And so, with that being said, um, you can type in a comment, put your name, and put the state and what your allegations are. And uh, if that's not enough for you and you want to speak live, you can call into my office phone at 626-698-0990. That is my office phone, and they'll connect me directly to my line, and I have my phone, and I'll put you on speakerphone, so that way you can hear me. That way you can hear me on that one. So I'll put you on my speakerphone. Okay, um, that is another way, actually a second way to interact with the show. If you're not ready to speak or you'd like to speak about CPS further, please call my other office at 888-888-6582. That is to my reception, and tell them that Bob Pace sent you and you'd like to speak on the show, and you tell them the date and the time you'd like to speak. And I'll gladly have you on the show, and you can talk about your matter and help other people out. I want to hear good stories and bad stories. Most of the time, 99% of the time, over 100 people I've talked to are bad stories. And that's sad because CPS isn't what it's supposed to be. It is not what it be. Now, there's one valuable tool you need when you get involved in CPS. And it's the most valuable tool you can ever get. You need an attorney, somebody to defend you. It's like a doctor. If you don't have a doctor, you do an open heart surgery, you don't want a layperson working on you. You don't want yourself working on you. You're going to have a doctor. Attorney is like a doctor because you're in the world of CPS. It's a very vicious world, and it's very deceptive and not very friendly, and they'll use deception, and they will steal your kids. They will steal your kids. It's a money-making business, $1 billion business that they are making off our kids. Because as long as they get the kids into the system, they get paid by the state and the federal government. And it's a lot of money. And so they want your kids to be adopted so they be there to 18. So they get money to their 18. That's how bad it really, really is. But this valuable tool I was talking about is Vincent W. Davis. He's a lawyer. He's a family law attorney. He's very professional, has years and years of fighting CPS. He has won, and he's also a trial attorney, and so he can't do trials. He has sued CPS. He has won his cases in civil lawsuit against CPS. He practices in Southern California, where I'm calling from in Southern California. And he goes to Northern California and he goes to other states. Last week he was in Oklahoma. Then he was up in Oakland. There's lots of places that he goes to. And so he's the valuable resource. And right now he's offering a 30-minute up to 1 hour consultation. That means you can meet with a real attorney, a family law attorney, and you can meet with them over the phone. And you want to call into my office number, that 888-888-6582. And you want to speak to uh, the girls there. Say that Bob Pace sent you, and that will get you into the consultation. And when you listen to him and here's what he has to say, you'll want more of that. Okay, I'd like to get started, but I've had some comments come in. We have somebody named Fern Jenkins. It says, I'm here. Yes, I did. Okay. I don't know where you're from, Fern, but you can tell me the state and what your question is. And if you want to call in, you can see the number there or schedule another time. We have Natasha LeBlanc. I think I've talked to you before. I finished my service past my parenting. Let me put that on so I can read it here. I finished my service, passed my parenting capacity assessment, and now my timeline is ending. Still, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now they're going for permanent. You know, it's their way of deception. They'll lead you on like a carrot, over a rabbit, and tease and taunt, and then they'll throw the back at your face. Keep at them. Keep at them. Do not give up. And if you want to talk to the show more about it, I'd like to hear more about that. You see what she also wrote. Natasha, I'm so confused. My heart is broken until now. Reunification was what they were telling me. I know it is a heartache. I am still hurting. I'm hurting because I lost my daughter to the thieves. I lost my daughter, and they are tricksters. They are really a great trickster. I need to know, do you have an attorney, Natasha? Do you want to talk on the show more? Let me see. You said something else. They're the ones who hired the parent capacity assessment, and I passed with flying colors. Her recommendations with my son be returned to me, and I was in the best interest. So why is CPS going for permanent? I'll tell you why. They're trying to scare you to do something, either sign some more paperwork and everything. Okay, you're in Canada. I haven't had much experience talking to any Canadians, but I'm glad that you called, and you're trying to reach out, and all of you are good parents. You may have had a hiccup or something like that. So I've had two people, my comments, Firm Jenkins, and I don't know what state you are, and Natasha LeBlanc. If you want to call in, you can call in, and it's 626-698-0990, and I try to help you. But I don't know how the Canadian CPS is. When you told me that they lie or they're changing it, that's untypical how they do it in the U.S. I've been talking to all the states, Maine, North Carolina, Virginia, Texas, Maryland, Pennsylvania, even the Indian reservation at the Rosebud, South Dakota, the Lakota Sioux reservation. There have been problems there. And so I can believe that, in Canada. So Okay, now you're saying something else. You're saying um, public defender, and I stayed silent like she asked me to. It got me nowhere listening to her. I'm sorry to tell you that. There's some disappointing news. Every public defender, and I'm talking hundreds of them, I've met or heard about, and people said they're what they are. They're a public defender with very little law experience. They have a caseload of 20 more or cases. They only have 5 minutes for your case, and they make deals with social services and the judge that are terrible. I hate to tell you that, but the dependency court where you have your matter, your family matter, is bad. Uh, I found out that my judge experience was he knew how to do damage claims and car repairs, but knew nothing about getting a family put together. And would you like to talk on the show, Natasha, and share our listeners what your experiences are up in Canada? I feel for you, Natasha. It's really hard because whatever got you in the first place. And my experience says it starts off with allegations, and these allegations are hearsay, meaning they're hearsay. They have to, you're not guilty, but in family law, in this family matter, juvenile matter, you're considered guilty until you're proven innocent. It isn't like criminal, where you're innocent until you're um, proven innocent. What is a PSA agreement? Okay, they have gotten worse past 4 years. The Canadian CPS are horrible. I will call in just to hear my answers. Daughter's right back. Okay, okay. Yeah, they are horrible. I think what's happened is that the Canadian CPS, the Branch of Social Services, Child Protection Services, has probably modeled their program, and maybe Canada government gives funds to the CPS, and the more the child stays with them, the more they're with them, the more money they get. And on top of that, there's no one accounting. There's no accounting of the money. The money is loosely given out. And did you know, and are you guys listening, that there's CPS social workers do not need a license? They don't need a certificate. They don't need a college degree to practice what they're practicing. And they're with our families. They're making life changing things to our families. They are supposedly doing mental health things, saying whether you're crazy or you need to be medication or something like that. Um, okay, so she's going to answer her daughter's call and then she'll get back to me. But we now have Natasha, and I just really like to help her because she is probably at her rope's end. And there's some people listening in, and if you have other questions, go ahead and call in. There are two numbers there. Um, okay, so there it is there. Now, the purpose of CPS, Child Protection Services, of social services, is to protect our kids from child abuse and child neglect. And that can either be by a mother, father, a family member, or somebody out in that world. And so they're supposed to protect it. And how they protect them is that they get allegations made, and then they, by law, have to investigate each allegation. And the problem is, when they get an allegation, they believe it's true. So you are guilty before you're proven innocent. Then they have to investigate it. And how they do the investigation is really tricky. They'll seem like they'll try to come into your home, which you don't have to let them in a court of law. They got to have a warrant, and they got to have an executed warrant. So, okay, I can't prove my innocent. I have, and still they're going for permanent year of service, but all they want to keep is my son. Seems like no matter what the service you do gives a positive report on you or not, they're still wanting to take my son. Well, they drag you on. And long as you do things, the thing is, we as parents think we're talking to an agency that can be trusted. I've learned, and I did the mistake, I should have had an attorney. In my case, I didn't have an attorney to halfway through the session. But you should never talk to a CPS worker. You should never let them in your home. And that goes for the police. Police don't have to come to home. They need a warrant. They need to have a warrant out there specifically saying who they need to see and what the allegations are before they come in. It's got to be executed by the court. So if they come to your home, don't answer the door. If they call on your phone, don't answer. If you see something in the mail, look it and then get a hold of an attorney. And most people don't have money to hire an attorney right away. I had to mortgage my house to get an attorney. So what I'm saying to you is that you need to get that valuable tool, that attorney there. Also, when you start on your case right away, you need to take a notebook and take notes. It's very, very important that you have notes. And you have these notes, you can refer to them. In these notes, you want to have the date and time this incident took place, who was involved, what was the problem, and then what was the outcome. And you do this line by line by line, by page, and you have that, and you want to organize it always by the date. You have your paperwork, do the same thing, organize it by date, highlight it, highlight the things that help you with your case in court, highlight the things you have problems with, because they're going to try to sit there and get you for substance abuse or for anything there. So let me see. Is it you got a hold of your daughter? Can you talk to us on the show? Yeah, we already answered that one there. There was a report you were asking about. What is a PASA agreement? Well, that doesn't sound very nice. Let me see here. A PASA agreement. I'll see. Okay, a PASA agreement is a professional service agreement. What it is, it's a legal binding contract between two parties. It's a type of agreement. You should be really careful about PASA agreements because you're making agreement to something that you probably don't like. So whatever you do, don't do that PASA agreement there, Natasha. Don't do the PASA agreement. Again, you need to show the attorney. Now, if your public defender is no good, you can get other public defenders. There's lots of public defenders, so you don't have to go to the first one. You have to go to the second one or third one, or get an attorney. There are some attorneys who do pro bono and so forth. We have an excellent attorney. It's Vincent W. Davis, and he's offering free 1-hour service, consultation service with him. So you need to get help. Also, if you talk to me, I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week, so I'll be a resource for you. And so that is a passive agreement between two parties. It almost looks like it's legally binding. So what you want to do is not sign to. It's a professional service agreement, and be very careful of it. Anything that comes your way. Now, if they give you a list of things to do, you want to do that. Now, some of you listen right now, maybe you've done things and you got it all done there. You need to get that stuff into a court. And the way to do it is you need a 388 petition. A 388 petition is a form that you fill out, and it has to be filled out correctly. That's why it's got to be done by an attorney. Because if you notice in courts of laws, they use special stationery, the numbers and so forth. It's very critical because you're dealing with a court. The judge can be really a stickler on things, and you can really screw up. That's why you need an attorney. But a 388 is to introduce new evidence or something that's changed that you want to take away your old plan and put a new plan in there. So let's say you've done all your classes, your parenting classes, or you've done all your other things you're required to. Let's say you did drug testing for a year. Well, what you do is you put copies of all that, attach it to the 388. That's your new evidence. That's where you want to change it. So you do that. If you, for instance, were accused of drugs, substance abuse, then your test is there. If they think you're mentally ill or not mentally able to take care of kids, don't let them do it. They're not doctors. They don't have degrees. They don't have certifications. They're just, most of the social workers are in their early 20s, just got out of whatever they were out of and got hired, and they're told right away, well, you get a bonus for every day you keep a child in. And they go out there. My social worker was always jazzing about her new eyelashes, her new makeup, her new Gucci purse, her BMW car. I mean, she must have made a fortune off me. And so they're in there and they're gonna wheel and deal and make your life really, really bad. Natasha, do you still want to talk? Or should I open it up again to anybody else? Again, if you want to talk live right now, it's 626-698-0990. And it's okay if you don't feel nervous about it. You can call the other number, 888 and that 6582 number, and schedule a time. But I find out by talking about it, helping other people, and everything like that. My case was terrible case. It was really, really, really terrible. Um, I read, a lot, and I'm educated in a home, and I had a beautiful job, lovely family. In fact, I have two types of families: an older family and a younger family, and I had a beautiful home. Unfortunately, when 2007, the banks started taking kind of a fall because they letting out too many predator loans, which are loans given to people that don't qualify, but they falsify the documents and bump up the income so they do qualify. And the home I was given, I said, how can I qualify for this home? I was really surprised, but it was a predator loan. But unfortunately, I lost my job. And that job has something to do with the banks too, because the state of California was going bankrupt. And just like Michigan, the city of Detroit, Michigan was. And I don't know if you heard about that, what it is, but I did a lot of work in construction, public construction work, civil highway, heavy highway, and civil engineering. And so I had all these contracts. And what the state did is say, oh, here, we'll write you IOUs. That means we're not reneging the contract work that you won publicly, but you're going to be a little late to getting your money. Well, I don't bankroll $50 million to have money sitting around that I could keep it going there. So I had to close my doors on general contracting and look for other work. Well, at age 60, that is a hard thing to do. I'm 74 now. I was involved with CPS at 65. Well, actually, it started right after I lost my job because unfortunately, I had a perfect storm brewing. And this storm was a very perfect storm. Not only did the banks crashing and the state of California going bankrupt, and then I got laid off of work. And without work, I had to start living a Spartan lifestyle. And family members on my wife's side started interfering with our lives. What that meant, from day one, her family never liked the idea of her getting married to me. They never liked me, I guess. They never came to the wedding. And so we proceeded to go ahead with life. It was hard on my wife. She and I have been together for 30 years, and she has been really hurt by it. And she's also been hurt because she found out going through this CPS matters, child neglect and child abuse that happened to her when she was growing up. And they did nothing about it to protect her. And so we learned a lot. One thing I will say, I learned a lot being involved in CPS. I wish they were an honest group there, but uh, they're not for it because they say not only are they supposed to protect children, they're supposed to do family reunification. They're supposed to keep the children together. There's more than one sibling, and they're supposed to put them with relatives, not put them in a shelter where my kids were next to a prison, next to the courthouse, and then stung to death in the yard for the recreation area. That was protection? Come on, that's a very cheap form of protection. And boy, when you start to complain or make waves, they really slam you hard. They come down so hard. They have so much money, it's glutton. It's really terrible. They have the Taj Mahal where I live in the county that is a multi-story building, very rich looking architect. It's something like looks like the World Trade Center. And that's supposed to be for CPS? That's CPS. That's not social services. It's a part of social services, but They are so rich because it's $1 billion business. And I went and talked to the head honcho. I talked to everybody down the food chain, and all of them goes in one ear, goes out of the other. They met with me. I fought them with letters and emails and phone calls and in person, trying to get my kids back and stuff like that. But they were terrible. My case was terrible. So not only did I lose a job, and you know, and um, my savings, of course, were dwindled, and part of the bank's going to bail it up. My retirement fund was cut in half because it wasn't invested very well in the stock market, and then um, my parents started taking ill, and they were dying. They wanted to sell their home, and so I did a bad mistake. I took all my parents' belongings and put them in my home. Of course, there's no room for it. I wanted to put them in storage, but I had no money for that. So, boy, oh boy, 5 years of constant harassing by CPS. Uh, a detective, a police detective, tricked me, said, "Follow me." And of course, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I didn't know there's a law about saying you can't go in somebody's home. And I could have refused to follow them. I could have said they made up some allegation that I had run a stop sign, a couple miles back. But that was a joke. I should have said to him, "Write me the ticket and I'll go to court about it. But I'm not coming home. I'm with my child. I got to pick up my wife. And if you have a problem, arrest me or take me in for whatever grounds you have." And of course, they didn't have any grounds except this ledge thing. And the policeman that pulled me over didn't even see it happen. The detective used him to pull me over, and that way they could do some wheeling and dealing. So they used deception. And CPS fools the police department. The police department is so overused. And it's hard enough because policemen do a good job. Most time they do a good job, and they're important to have. I don't want to get rid of our police. I'm not talking about that, but our police, that detective was so corrupt, and social service, it was like they just wanted, and they, on top of that, they wanted to do me criminally. They wanted to find something wrong, so they brought out code enforcement, the fire department. So I had 3 social workers. I had 2 code enforcement. I had 2 uniformed policemen. I had a detective and 5 firemen. And they went through my house and everything, and I let them in because I didn't know it was not right. And of course, my parents' belongings are everywhere. And they say, "Aha, those boxes will come upstairs and attack your children. The furniture has legs that will crawl upstairs and attack your children and hurt your children." That's how stupid and silly they were trying to be. That I was neglecting my children for having my parents' belongings. And unfortunate, you know, uh, that's something that they tried. They were measuring my smoke alarms. Are they the right distance? Are they set right? They want to make sure that the pool door, there was a chain on it, it was locked. Can someone come in there? They couldn't find anything. The only thing they found, some loose screws on the gate, and code enforcement says you got to tighten those screws. You know, I, I live in a private community, and they're pretty tight about things. But tighten screws on a gate, that gets a little far fetched. And of course, the yard was a little overgrown. I will admit that to code enforcement because I didn't have money to keep my gardener employed. So I had to do it myself, and I found it a lot of hard work. That's why I had a gardener. But did any one of those individuals say, "Hey, we'll give you help. Here's $50. Get some stuff in storage, or we'll get a U-Haul truck this next weekend to help you out," like that? They were trying to find things about your kids. They were coming up with everything in a nightmare. They were sitting there saying, "Oh, you're not feeding your kids. There's no electricity, no utilities." I showed them my utility bills. I showed everything. So anyway, Natasha, are you still around? Well, Natasha maybe had to take care of some other matters, but we had Natasha from Canada. And I guess I get a little excited about my case. It was over in 2017. I got 2 of my 3 children. They said I should be lucky. Her parents said, "You're lucky you have your 2 children and not all of them." I said, "Look," she said to Mom, "how would you feel if your children were taken away? It's wrong. It's wrong." And the things that they did to my wife that through this CPS event, she had scalding hot water as a punishment poured on her. She had coffee. These is a young girl. Her brother molested her. Her parents did nothing to protect her. She went to a concert at 15, way too young to go to a concert, because her 18-year-old sister was too high on drugs to watch her, and she went to the bathroom and couldn't find her seat, and some strange guys took advantage of her and raped her. And it's her first experience to love was being pregnant and having a kid, and she didn't give him for adoption. He turned out okay. He came back in her life at age 20, and right now he's a captain in the or major in the Air Force, and he practices law. He's part of the JAG system in there. So, he came out, and then she was raped a second time on a date rape. You know, and she had a child. She was single. When I met her, she was a single mom, 5-year-old child, and we became a relationship. And then we had 3 other children herself, and our 3 other children are the ones that were involved in CPS. They were 3 wonderful kids that had no issues. Now, all 3 of them have issues. All 3 of them have issues. One was in private school, at a private high school. One was in middle school, a public middle school, and one was elementary. And all the kids went to the same public and middle school. It was the private school that we're putting our kids in because he wanted to become a robotic engineer. And he uh, knew that the school he wanted to go to had a good program, a STEM program, and that way he could apply to college and pursue that. And my young son, loved sports, and he wanted to play on a football team, and that's what he did these last 4 years. He's in his senior year, and he's won 2 national high school football championships in 3 years. So that's pretty good. He's only lost. What has he only lost? I think he's lost 3 games in 3 years. One is season, one is season. I think it is. Yeah, one. Yeah. So he only lost 3 games. The team itself for 9 years has only lost 4 games. So it's one of the best. So he had a great football program, and that was good. But he suffered a lot when he was in that um, CPS, and when they put him in a group home. He was told not to drink orange juice. He wanted some more orange juice. He was scolded. Points were taken away. He later got put in foster care. They locked him in his room or cuffed his head because he didn't take communion right. He likes to take it from the priest in the mouth, and I guess the foster parents know you don't need to take it that way, and everything like that was there. I'd like to tell you again about the valuable tool. It's Mr. Davis, Vincent Davis. Remember that name. He will help you. He came to my rescue a year and a half into the case. I probably would have got my daughter back if he had started the case, because the first step is do not talk to CPS. Do not let them in your home. Do not do that. Okay? And then take notes, lots of notes. So, anyway, Vincent Davis is offering a free consultation and coaching um, with how to get your kids back, how to fight CPS, and yes, up for 30 minutes to an hour. And if you like, he'll retain him. He'll be a good attorney. He's in Southern California, but he'll work Northern California and all the states. I don't know if he'll go to Canada or Australia, but if the pay's there, he probably would. His retention is based on how complex the case is, how long it's been going on, and what part of the country it is. But he's good. He's been pulled in a lot of different directions and so forth. But um, he can be reached at 888-888-6582. You want to make sure when you call in, say Bob Pace told me to schedule a time, and then the person answers the phone will schedule a time that's open on his calendar. So, if you see at the bottom, there's a web page you can check his calendar, and it tells him where he's at and what he's doing and so forth. So the HTTPS, right there, that last part of that trailing ticket there is where you can check his schedule and so forth, like that. So also that same number, 888-888-6582. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can. Just call that, schedule a date and time that works best for you. Right now, I'm taking comments and phone calls live. I usually have a guest speaker on, but not tonight. You can call on my office phone that I have with me, 626-698-0990, and I'll put you on the air. So that's really, really good. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. Tomorrow being Sunday, I'll start at 10:30 instead of 10 o'clock. But most time it's 10 o'clock and at morning Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. Okay, Natasha's written something. I'm back. The girl that was a caretaker for my son was a friend of mine who lied about let me see my son whenever she said She would let me see him daily, so I picked her up, and then she changed what I put. Natasha, would you like to talk for the rest of the show? I have about 25 more minutes left of the show. Natasha, would you like to talk live on the show? You can call in 626-698-0990, and I'll put you on. I'll put you on if you want to call in. Yeah, I hate about lying, deceiving people. What they're doing is called alienation. It's against the law. When they alienate you from somebody, either a family member, even CPS alienates people. That's wrong. They should not do that. They try to make you look bad to a parent or something, you know? It's really bad on that. Um, so, Natasha, you want to call, or we can sit here and try to answer your questions? The best put that there. You need to write those notes down that whoever's taking care of your son. My question is that um, can you get another attorney? Can you talk to Vincent Davis? Call in, and he'll give you a 30-minute up to an hour talk. Um, Nothing to lose, nothing to lose. Or if you want to be on my show tomorrow morning at 10:30, you can call in and schedule it, or tomorrow night, or the next night. I'm here. I'm here for you. Anybody that has a matter involving CPS, I'm here because I'm helping you to steer it there. I've talked about the petition 388. That's a very important form you need to know. And again, that's to introduce new evidence or change your current plan. It's the form they use when you go into court. There's something called the ICWA. I don't know if you heard that before, but it's the Indian Child Welfare Act. And it was incorporated in 1979 in the United States. And what it did is that it gave Indian children the right to have the reservations take care of if they have a CPS matter. So, okay, Natasha. All right, let me put up. Okay, Natasha said was a friend of hers, and so I picked her up, and then she changed where I picked her up. That's bad. Okay, okay, I'm a bit shy. I'm sorry, but I find this hard to talk. But when you are in next, I will tell my story. I did tell everyone, the workers, the lawyers. She even told her son's name is Mommy. I told. Okay, I'm so sorry. They're using. You sound like a good mom. Do you still have Natasha? Do you still have a partner or a husband or somebody that was with the child that can help, or is he gone? Natasha, are you a single mom? Are you a single mom? Okay, so you're a single mom trying to raise your son, and that's typically. I'm not trying to put guys down, but guys do the fun part, but then don't stay around for the hard part. And raising children is hard. No one's born with a manual of how to raise kids. They're not born, and so you are a single mom, and that's so hard. I'm proud of you taking care of your kid as best you can. I don't want you to give up or stop fighting in there. So, what else can you tell me? What were the allegations that your child was taken from you? I never heard that part. You said you're from Canada, you're involved in CPS, and they want to make it permanent. They want to change the rules. But what were the initial allegations that you had, Natasha? I know it's hard for you, Natasha. Um, I probably not pronounced your name right. I think it's Sasha. I think it is Stasha. Uh, Stasha. I'm trying to. The Bonk. That sounds like a French name. So they took the child when you were pregnant. I mean, how soon did they take your child? I mean, what were you doing so awful during your pregnancy? It's okay to say what it is because anything you did can be corrected. It's nothing the end of the world. I've heard of some horrible, horrible stories on that. But you're you're medically neglected during pregnancy. Did you not do checkups on your child? Is that what they're trying to say you were? Was your child in danger or something? And how soon did they take your child away? I hope it wasn't at birth. A lot of times people have to know the law. If you are in CPS's hands and your children in their custody and you're trying to have more children, do not have more children because they will rip that child at the moment it's born. It's sad. They won't let you even hold a child. So I'm telling you, you're going to have to not get pregnant if you're involved in CPS. But if you're pregnant before you're involved in CPS, that's a different story. If you had your children before CPS, that's still a different story. So I don't know if they took him out or was he a couple years old when they took him or okay. Okay. There was a misunderstanding because of seeing the primary prenatal care at the hospital instead of the family doctor. He didn't get the filing from the hospital, so assume I was just neglect. Oh, that's horrible, horrible. Um, so they did they take your son right at birth, or when did they take your son? When did they take your son? They took him at 1 month. Oh wow. So you had your child, and 1 month they took him because they said that you weren't receiving prenatal care, but then they found that you were receiving prenatal care. And now you've gone through further, they're just manipulating you. Horrible, Nastasha. That is horrible what they're doing to you. And I feel for you. All you out there listening to her, she is, here's a mother who has no father. I mean, whatever the relationship was, where it was, he's gone. So she's by herself. I don't know if her family is trying to help her or not. But the see here. Okay, we got Kendra Edwards. Dealing with CPS now. Yeah. Okay. What state you're from, Kendra Edwards? We've been talking to Natasha from Canada. And what state are you from, Kendra? Kendra, what state you from? You're from Texas. Okay, you're from Texas. Now, my question is, being from Texas, what were the allegations in Texas? What were the allegations in Texas? Oh, you weren't in Texas? Oh, you're in Texas, but your kids are in Baltimore. So it happened in Baltimore. That's Maryland. So you're in Baltimore, Maryland, and CPS was involved. What are the allegations, Kendra Edwards? What are the allegations? I've not forgotten you, Natasha. So you have another question you can write in. Anybody can write in questions. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Kendra and and uh, Natasha. Okay, Natasha says something here. The system is backlogged and still waiting on the contract company hired by CPS to urine test. I can only do it through them. No, 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 no. You can hire your own urine test. Your own doctor can do. Be very careful. They make mistakes. CPS are not doctors. They are liars. They're cheaters. They have no credentials, no certifications. They're going to take you to the cleaners. So don't let them hear they're backlogged. You can get your urine test. What's the urine test for? Are they still thinking you're doing drugs? Okay, Kendra from is in Texas, but her kids are in Baltimore. Kendra, you say neglect. What kind of neglect, Kendra? No, they have to. That's what the 388's for. Your attorneys have to submit that. Don't tell them they can't take it. That's part of your evidence. And if it's by a legitimate doctor and you have tests, they can. They're lying to you. They're playing a con game on you. Hold your guns. They can, um, you can use your own doctor. You don't have to use their resources. That's the way. Again, all you listeners, all you people right now that are listening, they're mandating you parents and your kids to milk more money from the federal government, from the state government. And how they're doing so is prolonging the pain, prolonging them. They want to get you to the adoption stage. They want you to sign over your rights. Never give away your education rights, never giving away your medical rights. Well, they may say that, but they're not the last of the law there. You need to talk to your attorney. You have an attorney, Natasha, a public defender. Make him work. Make him earn his money. Okay. And Kendra says a lady called to me. It was hearsay. Yep. That also will happen there. You got to stand your grounds there, Natasha. And Kendra, you need to okay, you got neglect because of hearsay. That happens so much of the time. It's a way of alienating you from your parents. CPS loves allegations, especially if they're not true. I mean, there are cases where parents slam the kids against the wall and unnecessary punishment. There are parents that do things, scalding water. I mean, it does happen out there. I'm not saying it, but they treat every case. 99% of the cases they treat, it's like they all are doing this. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody is a substance user. Everybody is murdering their kids or, pouring hot water on them or torturing them, not feeding them everything. They do that all. It's a way of intimidation. It's a way. And right now, you need to work with an attorney. And if it's a public defender, you just get another public defender. To one time, a public defender will do what he's supposed to do and do that job. But you don't have to talk to social workers. You don't have to listen to what they say or anything. If they give you a list of programs, do them. But do them and get them done with. And sometimes I've even done more than I have to. And then show that as evidence. Don't forget that 388 form. That's the way you're going to open up the court to see that you complete all that thing and so forth. Okay, Kendra says she had 6 kids and 3 are gone from me. Okay, where are the other 3 kids? Are they Are they with you in Texas? Are the other 3 kids grown up? Are the 3 young kids still in Baltimore, Maryland? I know you are going to trial, and you can postpone a trial if you're not ready or they gave you something new. Let's say they just told you this week you have to take an anger management class or you got to take a parenting class. That's something new. You can actually stay the trial. You can make the trial be extended because you have something new. Again, the 388 form will do that for you. Your attorney can send that in there. So I feel for you on that. Natasha, she'll do anything I've been telling her, but I want to fight the court like nothing. I know you really want to, but you have to have an attorney to fight in court because the judges are corrupt, the social workers are corrupt, the attorneys for the social workers are corrupt, the public defenders corrupt. You're like Alice in Wonderland, fall in that rabbit hole. You're in a nightmare, a quagmire, and you're going to have to fight and fight for fight. You love your kids, and So you got to do that. So they're with me. Okay, so three of your kids are with you, Kendra. The other three are in Baltimore CPS, and you were neglecting them. Allegedly, you're neglecting them. So how far along your case are you, Kendra? How far along are you? We got about 10 minutes left. Okay, Natasha, with all those courses or programs you completed, you need to submit that to the court as evidence, and that's where the 388 comes into play. The 388 is your way of working with the judge. You say, hey, look, I completed all these requirements, and this is new evidence, so that way they can change the existing plan. The plan you have there is not in stone, not concrete. They're going to try to. They're going to try and make wheels and deals. They say, if you sign this form, we'll let you come back to your kids. No, they'll lie. They'll lie because look what's happened to Natasha. And so, Kendra, I strongly recommend that you call in. Um, you know, when you feel up to it. Same thing with Natasha. Maybe another show, another day, and you don't have to call in right this moment. The number is 626-698-0990 is my office phone, and I turn that off in about 5 minutes. The other number, 888-888-6582, is also an office phone, but there you can schedule a better date and a time you like to be on a show, either 10 in the morning or 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. And I'm glad to have you two talk on the show, Kendra and Natasha. Kendra's from Texas, Natasha's from Canada. And what part of Canada, Kendra? Are you near Ontario? I'm just trying to get an idea. Are you out there in the bush country? Are you out there in the wild timbers of Canada? I love that country. I've been there. I've been to Vancouver and Lake Louise and Banff and the Canadian Rockies. I've backpacked and so forth. And I surfed to Vancouver Island. I've surfed up in Canada along the Oregon coast, the Washington coast. And so, pretty place you live up there. And Texas, it's a big state. Boy, is it a big, big state. And I've been through Texas, but never stayed long enough to really enjoy it. But it took me forever to go through Texas. Other states are quick to go through there. I've been to Maryland. I've been to Baltimore, Maryland, and Fredericksburg, and Westminster, and some other places in Maryland. So the capacity assessment checked in on all the services and reports. So once the report goes in, the judge will see that. Okay. All right. She said that the capacity assessment checked in on all the services and reports as when they get, and the judge will see that. That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing, Natasha. And so Kendra's in Houston, Texas. Yeah, Kendra's in Houston, Texas. So how are you able to fight? If you're in Texas, how do you fight CPS in Baltimore, Maryland? How do you fight there? Do you have an attorney there or a public defender? Kendra, how are you fighting it? That is really hard on you. And if the neglect is not true, then the kids should be returned to you. So, wow, that's so hard. You're not seeing your kids. All of you need to see your kids. Natasha's son and Kendra's three children. Um, we're getting close to the end here. If you need an attorney, right now, Vincent W. Davis is the man. He's a professional family attorney with trial experience. And he's offering a free consultation to go over strategies for 30 minutes to an hour of how to get your kids back and fight CPS. If you like him, retain him. He'll be worth it. So he'll go to other states too. So, Nova Scotia. Well, I had someone from Maine. Maine's not too far Nova Scotia. I know where that is. Pretty country up there. But wow, I had a person yesterday from Australia. So this fighting with CPS is worldwide. It's not just in the U.S. It's not in the U.S. And I think somehow word is spread. they talk about child trafficking. I think CPS is the leading agency to get away with it, the child trafficking. We are in a terrible, where I live at the beach, this area here is the richest place, but they also have uh, the highest incidence of child trafficking. Our children are wiped up, swept up one day in another country the next day. They either go on planes or container ships, and they're overseas doing prostitution and slave trade. It's really sad. So CPS is like that. They are like in a slave trade. They just want to manipulate you. Their services and foster care is terrible. Group homes, shelters. I've yet to hear too much positive things. I've only heard one, two cases, and over 100 of bad cases. Two cases where the kids got back. All right, we got someone new. Sonia Black Bear. A caseworker had one of my grandchildren lie on the stand. Oh boy. Sonia Black Bear, with a name like Black Bear, are you a Native American Indian? What state are you from? Where are you from, Sonia? Sonia sounds like she's a grandmother because she said her grandchildren lied on the stand. I don't know why they do, but people do lie. That's the thing of it. So we got a third person in here, and I have about 4 minutes left. Sonia, um, Kendra, I need a lawyer here to back me up. I need help bad. Yeah, you do, Kendra. The thing is, you're going to have to fight in Baltimore, Maryland, or have the court change, the venue change. You need that, but you need a lawyer to help you do that. You need a form to change venue. Wow, people are protesting outside the courts in Canada. I'm so sorry to hear that. I just thought it was a U.S. thing. I thought it was locally where I'm at. I'm in Southern California, and I thought it was just a local thing because we have a lot of people in California that have migrated here. And shoot, our whole United States has a couple million people, new people here, and social services is really maxed out. They're trying to give food, health, welfare. I tell you, if you renounce your citizenship in the United States and go across the border and come back in, you'll get food stamps, you'll get free health, free medical, you get your kids in school, you get a free house, you get a job. That's how bad things have gotten there. Okay. Um, Three Boys Mama. Natasha, you also have to be aware that if you test at the drug facility, they will test with the results. Three Boy Mama, what state are you from? Good. Three Boys Mama was listening. Thank you. What state are you from, Three Boys Mama? I got about 2 minutes left here on the show, you guys. A lot of activity at the end of the show, which is someday I want to make the show go a little bit longer. Sometimes I want to make it go a little bit longer. Um, we're pretty much running out of time here. Okay, good. You put all this report to the judge. Well, thank you for your advice, Sweet Boy Mama. I don't know what state you're at or what your involvement with CPS, but thank you for sharing thing there. Orange County, California. Hey, you're in my county. All right, Three Boys Mama. So you probably experienced the Orange County courts. They're terrible. They're terrible. Taj Mahal is nearby, and the courtroom is next to a prison and to the shelter they put the kids in. Yeah, I know. Most people I hear have done things and improved their life and stuff. Okay, you guys, I don't want to end it. This has been a really good one. Thank you, Three Boys Mama. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you for all your listeners. I think we got up to 8 people at one time here. Again, this is Bob Pace, and I'm here twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm on tomorrow though at 10:30, and then normally it's 10 o'clock in the morning and at 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. And I'd love to have you as a guest speaker or participate. I think it was really great trying to keep track of everybody and what they're doing. We had a Canadian yesterday. We had an Australian, so this is really good. Uh, Again, um, if you want to schedule, I'm gonna turn off my office phone because my office phone Won't take any more calls there. It's 888-888-6582. That is my office where you can schedule a date and a time and everything. And call in, say that Bob Pay sent you. Also, don't forget our attorney. You need to get an attorney. So, with that saying, thank you all very, very much. God bless you. You guys are wonderful people because you love your child. You don't want to lose them. You don't want to lose them. And I feel for you. I really feel for you. I know what you're going through. It's a hard thing, but you will win if you stay true to what your values are. Don't give in. Don't talk, don't sign, don't do anything without an attorney or vice of attorney. All right? This is Bob Pace signing off. Good luck in the new year. Much happiness, and God bless you all. Good night.